Generating traffic and sales can be a challenge for online merchants. But selling on the Walmart Marketplace puts your products in front of millions of customers who shop on Walmart.com. And right now, sellers who join Walmart Marketplace can save up to 50% on referral and fulfillment fees for the first 90 days. So get started today. Head over to marketplace.walmart.com/savings. That's marketplace.walmart.com/savings.
This is Kerry Murdock with Practical E-Commerce. Welcome to Merchant Talk, our weekly discussion with an actual e-commerce merchant. For this installment, we are joined by Jill Exler, the founder of Jexpo.com, an e-commerce site for self-published authors. Well, Jill, thank you for your time today.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to talk about my site.
Well, tell us about that site. Tell us the URL of your site. What do you sell, and when did you launch it?
Okay, my site is www.jexpo.com, and it's a mix of my name, Jill Exler, and books. So I have the JEXBO. And it's a place for self-published authors to sell their books directly to the readers. I launched it in 2007 after I had written a book and I was going to have it self-published, and then I thought, wait a minute, where am I going to sell it? So I looked at a huge variety of websites, and there are a lot of sites where writers can sell their books, but I couldn't find one that really fit what I was looking for. So one of the things that I've done is it's a free place for authors to list their books. I have put in the feature of free bookmarks. So the bookmarks say the name of the book and buy it on Jexpo.com, so that it also helps the writers market their books, because that was another thing. My problem was, how was I going to market my book myself when I didn't know anything about it? And if you have bookmarks, you can just pass them out. Nobody is offended being handed a bookmark most of the time. It's a great site for readers who are looking for a unique book. To find something, they won't find it at a local bookstore on other sites, and it's in one centralized place on the web. You know, you don't have to look at each publisher.
So, let me interrupt you for a second.
Yes.
What's the title of the book that you wrote? What is it called?
Well, my book is called The Costume Shop, and it is not on there at the moment. Because at the moment, I'm running my company from Germany, and it's taking a lot of time, and more time than I would have right now to be selling my book myself. But it's on my list to put on there.
Okay. You mentioned you're in Germany. I know you're originally from Michigan, the state of Michigan. Tell us how you got interested in e-commerce. I mean, why was that?
It's something that I actually fell into, because when I couldn't find a site to sell my book myself, and I was looking everywhere, I thought, I'm just going to have to create one myself. So what I did was, I knew the company Etsy.com, which is where people who do handcrafted items sell their own items themselves. So I got in touch with the people at Etsy and said, help me, I want a site like yours, but for books. And so they're the ones who started me on this, showed me who to get in touch with, how to do this, and so there are similarities. You know, it's the people are selling their things themselves and dealing with the customers directly themselves.
Now, I know there are sites, Jill, that authors or publishers, self-published books can sell on. Anyone can sell on Amazon, to state the obvious example. Why should an author a self-published author, put it on your site versus putting it on Amazon?
Oh, I would say absolutely put it on Amazon. Amazon has a huge number of users. The difference is Amazon takes a big cut of the percentage of your books that's sold, And Jexpo, it's free to list your book, and Jexpo only gets 5% of what's sold each month.
Okay.
There are also sites where, for instance, you pay $99 annual fee, and they will market your book for you. And, I mean, before I would pay $99, I would really have to get some references from that website to see if it's going to be worth it. If they're only selling one book of yours a month at $10, it's not going to make you much money. But I would certainly say go with every free site you can find. Jexpo is very simple because it offers the free bookmarks. It has no fee to list, and you are in charge of everything yourself. There's a feature where you can click that it is not available for a few weeks. For instance, if you go on vacation and don't want to miss an email purchase from someone, you can just click that it's not available for 2 weeks, and then when you get back from vacation, put the feature back on that your book is available.
Tell us, Jill, your site, just to give readers an idea of the size of your business. How many books do you have on your site right now?
I have active about 60 books, but there are about 100 books listed. Like I said, the authors can take them off and put them back on at different times. So at the moment, there's about 60 books active, and new books get added every week. And also I have readers signing up every week. So I'm not at Amazon's level yet, but I'm working hard.
That's interesting. Tell us a little bit about the back-end infrastructure of your site. The shopping cart, how do you fulfill the orders, accounting software, etc.?
My site has been custom developed, and so I have a customized shopping cart with the order management system built in. When someone buys a book, an email is sent to the author, and the author has to fulfill it. But buyers can rate the sellers can leave comments. I use an online merchant bank that does the accounting for me. I have Aweber as an email market provider, and I use an outside tech team that does the technical things. But I check all the processes on a regular basis.
So you mentioned a custom shopping cart. Actually, is that actually a shopping cart someone wrote from scratch?
Well, it was all set up on Ruby on Rails, which is, my technical knowledge is very limited. But I do know that Ruby on Rails, the code is already set up in blocks. So when it was set up on Ruby on Rails, it was using a shopping cart system that I assume is available on Ruby on Rails.
Tell us how you market your site.
Well, I use the social media sites of Twitter and Facebook, and I tweet about all the books available, and I tweet to remind people, try to do your holiday shopping now, because it's supporting the authors and it's finding readers unique books. I have a monthly newsletter, a weekly blog. I have a channel on Small Biz America Radio that's updated with interviews with authors. I have a publicist, and she sends out a monthly SEO press release. We have regular articles, interviews such as this. I have a blog on Pink Magazine Online. So I'm doing a lot of promoting of my site.
That's interesting. Right. Tell us some decisions that you've made that you wish you hadn't have made, some mistakes you've made along the way.
Well, one of my mistakes that I have to consider the biggest mistake is when I was first recommended the first web developer to set up the site, I didn't check references. I just, I ran with it. And they turned out to not be as helpful in sticking to a schedule. They were working at a much slower pace than I expected, and it was hard to motivate them. So I have found another web developer who is much better, much more helpful. When a customer has a problem, for instance, if they have problems uploading a picture of their book onto the site, sometimes they'll say, I can't figure out how to do this. My developer now is very prompt and can help answer this. When I have a question, they answer it very quickly. So that's been my biggest mistake, not doing a reference check on the web developer.
What about your biggest, the decision that you're most proudest of, your biggest success, the decision you've made?
The biggest success to me is that I have the site up and running, because I get emails all the time from authors saying this is just what they need. They're tired of having to give up a large percentage of the book when they sell it on some websites, or they have to pay high monthly fees, or it's very difficult. You know, each individual publisher, they might say, well, we'll sell your book for you, but it's hard to promote your book through another company. And so when it's on Gexpo, the customers can print out their bookmarks and do their promotion themselves. So I'm happy that I started my company and that it is helping so many self-published authors.
Tell us a little bit about your background, Jill. You're from Michigan. You now live in Southwest Germany. You run your business out of Michigan. Tell us about your professional background that led you to being an author.
Well, I actually studied law in Detroit, and I spent a summer at a law program in England where I met my husband, who's Austrian. And once I married him, we moved to Austria and then later Germany. So I've had no time to practice law, but I have had lots of time to travel and write. And so I wrote my book, The Costume Shop, is a children's book about traveling in Europe. And so I guess it's just my experience has given me something to write about, because I have done a lot of traveling in Europe.
Where did you go to undergrad school at?
I went to Calvin College in Grand Rapids, and then I went to Detroit College of Law for law school, which is now part of Michigan State.
All right. Our listeners, Jill, are e-commerce merchants like yourself, smaller e-commerce merchants. Any advice for them as they listen to this interview or read this interview?
I would say the first thing is keep a positive attitude, because some days are really, really rough. You'll get a bad email or something won't be working right. But if you can have a positive attitude, maybe surround yourself with positive friends, find websites with people who will help support you. Look for ways to promote your business and products, because you never know what's going to come up. You might think, oh, I don't need a Twitter account, but I started a Twitter account and lots and lots of people signed up as users of Gexpo just from starting a Twitter account. I would have a caution that make sure you get references before using other outside companies to do your work for you.
That makes sense. Well, Jill's site, once more, is Gexpo. I'm going to spell that. That's J-E-X, B as in boy, O, Gexpo.com. And Jill Exler, the founder and CEO of Gexpo. We want to thank you for your time today.
Thank you very much.